Welcome back, NoDQ Galaxy, and Virtue is back as the moderator, the original review moderator, but we are on a rotation now, so I will moderate this week. Next week, it's Colin, and then it will be Gino, and that will be the rotation, and if any of us have to miss a week, the next person in line will get it. So we have a three-headed monster, and yes, NoDQ Galaxy, you are not seeing anything incorrectly. Robbie Vice is here on the show with me, and we are about to talk wrestling. Let's go around and talk about this week's elite panel. Of course, Aaron Rift is here, Gino, Robbie, Big G, and JJ. Robbie,
yo,
what's going on?
Not a whole lot. Looking forward to a staycation that I have planned next month. I've been watching a lot of wrestling, really enjoying how much the fan base has loved this John Cena heel turn, and I love how everyone's in agreement on that. But it's definitely been an interesting, like, WrestleMania, post WrestleMania. I feel there's been a lot of ups and downs. I feel there's a lot of great things that we could talk about today, and I'm looking forward to a good conversation.
Yeah, I got topics, and a lot of it stems off of WrestleMania, and continuing forward with some new storylines, but stay tuned. You know how this works. I will be back to you.
That's right.
Big G, how's your internet connection? Is it working today? Are you good? No lag?
I am. No, I'm good. I'm
how's mine? Good. Am I okay? Is mine working?
You're good.
Okay. What's up?
Not much. Going through a bit of a rough patch right now, but I'm here with the boys to talk some wrestling, to get me through some hard times. But like I always say, let's get this ball rolling.
All right, baby. Stay tuned. All right. What's up, JJ?
Not a whole lot, Virtue. I'm doing good. Kind of like Big G, been going through some rough patches here these last couple weeks. WrestleMania week just completely physically, emotionally, mentally drained me. We did something like 20 watch-alongs over the course from the Wednesday before Mania through the Tuesday NXT after Mania. Just sheer insanity, but it's 1 week a year. It's the greatest time of the year for a wrestling fan. Like Jeff Meacham says, it's like a second Christmas for us. It truly is the most wonderful time of the year, especially as a website creator, content creators. There's always so much to go around and discuss, and lots of news coming out of it in the following week. So I'm looking forward to what you got on deck, Virtue.
All right. Well, stay tuned. And, of course, Gino, co-moderator, what's up?
Thanks for having me back, guys. Not happy to be here. Sorry, honored to be here, as always. Looking forward to these topics and having back our original review moderator, Virtue, back in the center frame where he belongs.
We need to update that intro, Aaron. Cody Rhodes is no longer champion. Maybe, keep him on there with another image, but John Cena with the title. You got to definitely put that up there.
Yeah, I just realized that when we started tonight. I remember last week somebody said you need to change the intro, and I'm like, what are they talking about? Then I noticed this week, oh yeah, Cody's not the WWE champion anymore, although he might be again at some point. We'll talk about that later. We'll discuss what might happen with Cody Rhodes. Virtue doesn't seem too amused by that, but we'll see what the discussion brings later on. Ty Arts is here, sent in a €2 super chat. Thank you, Ty Arts. Says, Attitude Era versus today's era, which is better and why? I mean, that's a very deep question. Depends on what you like. If you want half-naked women, lots of profanity, lots of blood, bad wrestling, Attitude Era was definitely for you. If you like the better quality of wrestling, probably today's. I mean, anybody have a personal preference? I know nostalgia can play a role. JJ, gun to your head, Attitude Era or today's era?
Gun to my head, I'm probably going to go Attitude because that's what made me fall in love with the business.
Fair answer. Big G, I mean, you were pretty young during the Attitude Era.
Yeah, I was pretty young. I was like right at the 99. I started watching, so like right there. If I had to get, I'd say Attitude Era as well.
2 for Attitude Era. Robbie.
I don't as much hold the new era in as high regard. I think CM Punk, and there's some really, really bright spots there, but Attitude Era all day.
All right. Gino?
Yeah. It's got to be for me. I was young as well during the Attitude Era, but if gun to my head, that's the question. It's got to be for me. It's got to be the Attitude Era. Just the way the crowd's not on their phones and they're actually paying attention to the show, whether it's good or bad. That would probably put it over the edge for me.
Flash photography and signs were such a cool part of the atmosphere back in the day.
It was must-watch TV every week. As far as being a television viewer goes, nothing can top the Attitude Era. So I have to go Attitude Era. Virtue, maybe you'll be the one person that picks today's era.
Dude, Attitude Era. Even though Roman Reigns is in this era, Attitude Era all the way. Plus, I watched the competition to WWE, WCW, and I checked out ECW. Right? It's hard for me to do that these days. So, and the Rock show, The Rock was there. He was there every week back then. So there you go.
All right, unanimous for the Attitude Era. Virtue, let's go for it.
All right, so in the main event, we're going to talk about this new group with Paul Heyman, Seth Rollins, and Bron Breakker, and who could be a new member in the future. That's going to be later, though. The first topic, I do want to talk about Seth Rollins and John Cena, right? Because they came out of the weekend as the biggest, I guess, and, Cena won the title. So you could say he's the top heel. Rollins, obviously, Heyman joining him. So I know we have Logan Paul, I know we have Gunther, and we have other heels, but these two guys were being pushed as the top heels. So I'm going to put them up against each other, and I want this discussion. A lot of critics of John Cena's current heel run, right? Because a lot of people aren't happy with how it happened because The Rock didn't really follow through with it, yet. We'll see what happens. Is Cena just kind of going through the motions? Is this a good heel thing? Is it too much against the fans, not against the wrestlers? And then, of course, Seth Rollins. To me, it's kind of the heel Rollins since he broke away from the Shield and turned on the Shield. It's always been the same. And then the Monday Night Messiah, there's nothing new here with Seth Rollins. It's just he's got different people with him. So who would the better heel here out of Cena and Rollins? And you could throw in a wild card if you really think someone's way better than either one of them right now. But Robbie, I'm going to start with you. These are the top two cats, evil villains right now in WWE per what they would want you to think. What do you think?
I think John Cena is the better heel because no one likes him right now. Nobody, he's getting a lot of real heat. And I know we've talked in the past about go away heat. I don't think it's really quite there yet. He's not giving the fans what they want. I honestly think for a modern day heel, I really don't think it gets better than John Cena because he's already proven that he can win the big matches. He won, obviously, at WrestleMania. And I think having that credible thing, it gives me a little bit of that flashback to that Hollywood Hogan WCW. However, not nearly as polished. I will say that, some of the promos have fallen a little bit flat, but if we're going to compare the two, I actually do agree with what Virtue said earlier, where Seth Rollins' character hasn't evolved enough. He's still basically, he's the same character he's been for the past few years. And I agree, he has people around him. Now, I think Seth Rollins is the more interesting character right now just because of the Bron Breakker situation. I'm very interested to see what happens with the group itself, but I would say I'm more interested in the group and who may join than Seth Rollins' role in it. So I guess, if I'm going to pick one or the other, I'm going to say Cena just because people don't like what's happening right now. And I think in modern wrestling, that is the best way to be a heel.
Yeah, a heel that actually people don't like. Seth Rollins, people kind of cheer him. Oh my God, he's with Heyman and Bron Breakker. This is his elevation. And it's kind of almost like they're getting cheered, right? And I know that happened with the Bloodline and Roman too. So, I guess in NWO, right? DX, cool heels, fans will gravitate towards. Gino, what about you? It's the thing is with Rollins, it's the same. If you take that entrance music away and people not humming that, what has he got? Go ahead, Gino.
Well, besides he got me that moderator spot, he hasn't really made much of a change. But thank you guys. We're in the era of truth-telling heels, brought on, I believe, by Drew McIntyre. They're both getting cheered, like you guys have mentioned. I would say currently Cena is the better heel because I feel like Orton is they're not going to boo Orton. The Kansas City crowd was kind of vicious. The Vegas crowd was kind of vicious. I don't know if those are both indicative of what the rest of the crowds are going to be like, or if it was just isolated incidents. they're cheering for all the bad guys one more time to all this stuff. So it's really tough to tell. You could argue that neither of them are really true heels, just because of the crowd reactions alone. They're like heel leaning tweeners. They're just telling the truth, and they're not even really doing that much of dastardly things. Like the true heel of the company, you can't even really say it's Dominic, because he's kind of a tweener now too. It seemed like they were going to lean into his baby face, but then on Raw, he's kind of saying heelish things again. So it's to AJ, and everybody loves AJ, so that would make Dom the heel in that. So I think Logan Paul as a third option is the most heel wrestler person in the company. But out of those two, I'm just going to have to say it's Cena. He got people to boo Cody Rhodes, and I don't want to lean off into that topic of what's next for Cody Rhodes, but he was the workhorse babyface for the last year, and as the champion, and before that, for 2 WrestleManias before that. So it was kind of being able to do that shows me that I'm just kind of in the middle with these guys. But Cena he's just the better heel at this time.
See, look at Rollins. People, he's there all the time. That's what wrestling fans want. The people that are there all the time. Cena has become an outsider because, granted, we know he has X amount of dates left on this farewell tour, but he became a Hollywood guy, not there all the time. Logan Paul, outsider. That's why they're good heels, because the wrestling fans don't like the outsiders coming in and getting the spotlight. So as much as I want to say I dislike Rollins more than Cena, because I always like who the fans don't like, but, and Heyman's no longer with Roman or Punk. He's with Rollins, dating younger women. It's like, I really hate these guys, but that's just my point of view. A general fan's point of view, I get it. Cena, I mean, that probably is the most logical choice. Big G, what do you think?
Yeah, out of the two, I would definitely go with Cena too. Yeah, when he comes out, they get that initial reaction of cheering because it's John Cena. But then, when he walks down the aisle to the ring and starts doing his shtick, then they start booing him. Seth Rollins, on the other hand, that theme song, like, as soon as he comes out, the crowd obviously cheers and they hum his whole song throughout the time he comes out. And then after, they do it a cappella. And like I said yesterday, people cheer for who they want to, whether it be heel or face, or they boo, they boo the faces. We saw that with Cody in Vegas. But yeah, Seth, if Seth wants to go like full, I like Gino's point. They're heels, but they're telling the truth. But yeah, I would have to go with Cena as the better heel. Hopefully, now that he's in this feud with Orton, we'll get something good coming out of this, and then going forward, what he does later on with his 25 dates that he has left. But I think Rollins needs to. I hate to say it too. I hope he needs to switch up his theme song just a little bit so the crowd doesn't get behind him as much, and he needs to stop with the whole flashy clothes and stuff like that too. He's been doing that for the past couple years.
Yeah, since the Joker came out.
Pretty much,
Big G,
since the Joker came out.
Here's
Yeah.
the problem. Seth Rollins is a good wrestler, and wrestling fans like that. So even if he's trying to be a heel, he's a good wrestler, we're going to get behind him. Gunther.
Right.
Gunther's another one. But Cena,
yeah.
we know Cena's wrestling ability, right? I mean, it's basic.
Yeah, and
people, wrestling fans, can hate him because he's not a great wrestler. The anomaly is Logan Paul, because he's a great wrestler, but yet they still hate him. That's magic. That could be because of his social media life.
Yeah.
And he got rich off of the internet and stuff like that. People hate that.
As a person, I hate Logan Paul, but in ring, Logan Paul, he has impressed me since day one. He's as a celebrity wrestler, if you want to call him a celebrity wrestler, he's taken it serious and doing what he needed to do his homework to be in the ring with AJ Styles and Roman Reigns, and now this program going with Jey Uso. But last week is the Gunther that I've wanted to see for the longest time. Yeah, he did it a couple weeks ago with Jimmy Uso and stuff like that during that program. And if you go back to the NXT UK days and a little bit of the NXT days, he had that vicious side to him too. But what we saw last week is what we should have gotten pretty much from the start of like the whole Jey Uso program up until now. So, but like I said, my final, if I had to choose between Rollins and Cena, it'd be Cena.
Cena's
a better
winning
heel.
this thing. All right, fair enough. JJ.
Yeah, when it comes down to the two choices that you've given us, Virtue, Cena is by and far the better heel. His entire shtick right now is to try and ruin wrestling. And from not changing the music to the simple Tron to doing the 5 moves of doom at a quarter speed to knowing the fact that he isn't the greatest worker in the world and still trying to pull off shit that we've never seen him do in such a way that it makes fans almost hate those maneuvers because Cena is doing it. He's being successful in trying to destroy the wrestling business. But to G's point and to Gino's point, if you really want to pinpoint the best heel in the company right now, it's Logan Paul. By and far, like G said, people hate Logan Paul not because he's good in the ring, not because of his heel ability on the microphone. They hate him for real life stuff. They hate him for the way he is outside of the business, and they bring that hatred into the product instead of separating the man and the gimmick.
Do you think that's fair?
No, not at all.
Yeah, so that's kind of a growth. So
separate.
yeah, so I've been gone for a couple of years, and I know that was a big part of things that would trigger me in the past. But I definitely think that I have gotten a lot more enjoyment out of my media consumption by separating people outside of their, whatever career, because I don't need to go hang out with these people. I just want to go watch them do cool things. So I think a lot of people that have that feeling should just let go and just enjoy it, man, because
absolutely,
there's no reason to be pissed all the time.
I know it's a controversial topic, but it kind of goes back to the way I feel about Chris Benoit. Everything he did up before that weekend, you got to admire the man, the worker, the way he was in the ring, his matches. You can hate what happened on that weekend, and you can think he's a horrible man for that, but you can't hate Chris Benoit, the wrestler, for the entire back catalog of work he had up until that weekend. You got to separate the man and the gimmick.
Yeah, fair enough. So you obviously John Cena, right, JJ?
Yeah. I said Cena at the outset.
Seth Rollins. It's like I set him up, right? But we're getting more Logan Paul, picks than as an honorable mention than even Seth Rollins. So, but he's front and center. He's a Heyman guy now, leading this faction. So we're gonna put him up on that pedestal and talk about this. All right, Aaron, over to you and all the super chats.
All right, yes, we do have a few super chats. We'll get to those shortly, but I agree with pretty much everything that was said already. I would go John Cena over Seth Rollins if it's just between the two of them. I think John Cena has been a little bit more creative with his heel work, but then again, it's only been, just over a week for Seth Rollins. We'll have to see how things play out. But as mentioned, maybe we'll see the character tweaked a little bit. Maybe he'll change his music. There's some things they can do. But to me, neither of them are really great heels because they're still being cheered. I would argue that Gunther or Logan Paul right now are better heels because they're more effective when it comes to getting heat from the fans. Now, some might say Logan Paul is getting go-away heat, but he knows how to play the character and get the fans riled up and just, brag about how great he is. And I think his promos are really solid, and he knows what he's doing as far as getting the fans to boo him. And that's what you need to do as a heel. You need to get the people to hate you, and your job is to make it so fans want to see you get your ass kicked by the good guy. And with John Cena, I guess, because he's in there with Randy Orton, people love Randy Orton so much, but John Cena really needs to be so annoying that you want somebody to just beat the hell out of John Cena. And I'm not quite sure we're at that point with him yet. And as far as Seth Rollins goes, I just completely sympathize with the guy because he is the workhorse. He's there every week. Roman Reigns and CM Punk are part-timers now. He was right. JJ?
I also think part of the problem is, and at least with the early goings of both of their heel runs, you know, the first super chat of the night asked us, you know, attitude era for today's era. I think we've kind of fallen back into where we have too many white meat baby faces, you know, too goody good guys, to where we kind of need a little bit of a chaotic good so that they're not so squeaky clean. We need that little bit of an edge to our good guys, like when we had Austin, to where we don't automatically cheer the bad guy for beating the crap out of the goody goody. I think that's part of why the thing happened with Bron and Sami last night. Sami has become such a goody goody, and Bron is that cool badass that everyone just wants to see him keep spearing the crap out of Sami Zayn, the lovable Muppet.
Yeah, one more time.
Know? I think that's another part of the issue. And then we had Cena Cody. Cody's fallen in the same trap. Too much of a goody white meat babyface like his daddy was for all those years. So we kind of wanted to see John Cena beat the crap out of him.
Very true.
Good guys get mad too. That's the thing that makes it dumb. Good guys get violent. You kick a good guy in the nuts, he's not going to be like, "Oh, you jerk, I'm going to still fight you clean." He's going to beat the crap out of you, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Aaron, I want to clarify go away heat, like somebody said with Logan Paul. Go away heat is when you get no reaction from the crowd and it's silent. If you get booed, you that's not go away heat. You're getting a reaction.
Yeah, and I think
you know what I mean. Like
see...
Roman in 2015 to 2019, that was not go away heat because he was getting a reaction, even though he was supposed to be a babyface. Logan Paul went out there, and anytime he got crickets, then you have a problem.
Plus, people are wanting to see Logan Paul get his ass kicked. Like they're cheering when Logan Paul gets beat up. So I mean, it's working.
They're buying
impressed with him.
They're buying tickets to watch him get his ass beat.
Exactly. G, anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, I was gonna say real quick with the whole one more time. Go back to, you know, look at Jacob Fatu. You know, he's supposed to be a heel, but when he and Bron went at it, he did the moonsaults back, and you know, he did multiple moonsaults, and then going back to Bronson Reed with Seth Rollins, you know, he did the multiple splashes, and they were chanting one more time. They want to see what JJ said, that cool badass. You know, they want that, but they want pretty much like Stone Cold, but not Stone Cold. If you think about it.
Piper said for years before he passed away that so many people put the success of the inaugural WrestleMania on Hulk Hogan's shoulders. But would it have been as successful if Piper wasn't such a good villain that they wanted to see Hogan kick his ass?
Yeah. You need a good antagonist and a good protagonist and a storyline that's intriguing. So it's a combination of all those things, I think, in order to get the right crowd reactions from the fans. Now, we do have a lot of super chats here, so let's get to those. First of all, Daryl sent in a 35 ZAR super chat. Where's ZAR again? Anybody know?
Africa.
Like Africa.
Zanzibar, maybe.
He says, is Austin Theory better than Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, as Theory beat John Cena at WrestleMania in a championship match and being one of only 3 wrestlers to do it? I forgot that. You know, we all seem to forget about Austin Theory beating John Cena. I mean, that at the time, that was probably a good idea to try and elevate Austin Theory, but looking back at it, like it did nothing for Theory. And I mean, it didn't hurt John Cena at all, but I mean, yeah, wasn't really the best follow-up with that. Same thing with Solo Sikoa. Remember, Solo destroyed John Cena and it went nowhere. Anybody have a thought on Austin Theory and Cody?
What do people think about Austin Theory?
Well, I think might know something with Austin Theory when we get to the main event.
Okay. Gino?
Yeah, I just want to say that beating John Cena in a title match at Mania doesn't necessarily make you, like, it's not the be-all, end-all when it comes to doing well at Mania. Cody main evented 2 Manias back to back. Yes, with Roman Reigns' help, and I think that it's probably a troll question,
Cody's main evented 3 WrestleManias in a row.
Well, I think the point that he's trying to get
Perfect.
at, and it could kind of be considered trollish, but considering Cena's considered the GOAT, Theory was able to defeat the GOAT, Cody wasn't. Is Theory better than Cody? No.
I mean, Buster Douglas. I mean, was he better? No.
I only know who that is because he was involved in that storyline in 1990 with Hogan and Savage.
That's fair.
All right.
Jake Paul beat Mike Tyson. Does that make Jake Paul better than Muhammad Ali?
There you go.
There you go.
Well put.
All right. Dylan Lasagna sent in a $10 super chat. Thank you for that, Dylan. So this is regarding Liv Morgan. Dylan says, super happy for Liv getting a reported major movie role. Any guesses on which movie it is, and how will Triple H try to advance the Dominic, Finn, and Judgment Day stuff while Liv is away for however long? Apparently, it's not a superhero movie. I think that's all we know at this point.
It's supposed to be like a drama or something like that that I read.
Anybody have a guess? Like, I don't really follow Hollywood movies these days. I don't know what's on the horizon or what's in the works. Does anybody have a guess?
They haven't really said anything yet except for what you just said and what I just said. So
some people online are saying, is she going to be playing Margot Robbie's sister in the movie?
They look very similar. I mean,
they look similar, yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. Like, she's been pretty good at this character, this version of herself, the past year or two. But her looks, looks do it in Hollywood mostly, and I'm sure that helped her get a role. So it's probably going to be some type of a teeny bopper movie or something like a sex comedy. So that's my guess.
Gino?
Yeah. So, if they're casting or doing a casting, she's the first casting announcement or whatever, like, it's not like it's going to be a movie that's already been announced, right? They're probably not even going to announce the movie for quite some time. So it'd be really almost impossible to guess like what the movie is. I don't know if it's a major role or not. It feels like she just said for a role or was like hyping herself up, but I don't know if any Hollywood production is going to give her a major role right out the gates because, she's not like she's Cena level or anything like that. So,
I could see her getting a major role if it's a horror movie. I know she seems to enjoy horror movies. She did the Chucky TV series. She's got the psychotic and personality and laugh in her character that would make her a good villain, or at the very least an antagonist within the circle of friends. So I could see maybe a major role in a horror movie, but not like a comedy or anything.
I hope
as far as what they do with her, I say have Raquel turn on her. It's easy to write her off that way.
Tito.
God damn it, Tito.
I didn't even go that far.
I don't even know what that is, so maybe it's
that is an adult film.
It's like the original adult film.
Yeah.
There was a whole series of them.
Tito got me again. I didn't know what it was. I put up the comment. There you go.
Someone screenshot that and make it a meme.
All right. Yeah, I think that if she's only gone for a couple weeks, they don't really need to tweak their storylines. Now, if she's going to be gone for a couple months, then they may have to figure something out. But we'll find out what the movie is, and then we'll have a better idea of how long she's going to be out, depending on what the movie is and what her role in that movie is. Because she could be in a big movie, but it's not a significant part.
Like that Sasha Banks part.
Right.
She's just kind of there. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we got one here from Ty Arts, who sent in a €2 super chat. Thank you for that. I think this is an easy one. Better WrestleMania catalog, Seth Rollins or AJ Styles? AJ Styles, come on. AJ's matches, his best match was probably versus Shane McMahon at WrestleMania. Was there a better AJ WrestleMania match than Shane McMahon? A lot of his matches were lackluster, like the Nakamura one. I wasn't blown away by the Logan Paul match, and I can't even think of some of his other ones. Didn't he team?
What about the Boneyard match?
If you want to count that as a match.
I think Rollins has the better catalog for WrestleMania. Yeah. If you think about it, he's been there longer, and he's had Heist of the Century. He's had a great IC opener with at
He squashed
WrestleMania
Brock
34.
Lesnar more or less.
He beat
Yeah.
he beat Roman. He beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 35 in the opening match. So, and
we
I
can't
like
dispute that he wasn't the MVP last year at Mania 40.
no shit, huh? Oh, sorry. Like seriously, he really was on one good knee.
All right, we'll move on here. Psycho Jet Black says, for Aaron, the true heel is Rift Aronson. Yeah.
May he rest in peace.
Yeah, so
At least
he's
you got
Or may he
$2
rest in
for it.
hell. I think he might be in hell.
Well,
You got
I mean,
$1.50 for it after YouTube's take.
right. Well, as I said, I think a week or two ago, when the WWE games are on Switch 2, maybe I'll fight Rift Aronson inside Hell in a Cell or something on the WWE 2K game. That will be the return of Rift Aronson. I'll summon him, and we'll have that cage match on WWE's 2K game, whatever they put out on the Switch 2. If I can even get a Switch 2, we'll see. Virtue thinks we'll be fine, but
We'll be all right. Yeah.
yeah. I have not been able to get one, but I'm just going to wait it out. Robbie, did you pre-order one yet?
I'm not going to.
Oh, well, there you go. So,
Robbie will get one though. I think he'll have an impulse
Eventually,
buy.
I might. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's definitely a possibility. But I've been not to go super off topic, but the Oblivion remake dropped on PC and everything else, and I've been doing that for the last week. So
maybe Mr.
Black Friday.
Maybe Mr. Tito can send me one of the 3 Switch 2s that he supposedly got online, but we'll see. Psycho Jet Black sent in another $5 super chat. Thank you, Psycho. Says, seriously, for some people, they cannot separate the art from the artist, and that is their decision. Imagine if, say, Michael Jackson was in the WWE. Well, they could always...
I mean, he kind of was. It was Jake the Snake Roberts' dad.
Yeah, really. I mean, they could have... they could bring in, that indie wrestler that acts like Michael Jackson?
Santana Jackson.
Yeah, they could bring him in.
Wasn't Marty Scurll kind of like that too?
Oh, yeah, I don't know about that. I'm
I
not
don't know.
I'm not going there.
Isn't that like I was gonna say like a certain Hollywood Hogan? He can't separate reality from wrestling nowadays either.
All right, well, thank you for that, Psycho Jet Black. And Psycho said with the $2 super chat says, how would you rebuild Solo Sikoa and Austin Theory?
Let
good
them go
question.
to AEW and reset.
Wow.
I mean, their
That's-
characters are terrible. They just need to reset. They need a hard reset.
I would just say go back down to NXT.
I don't think it's enough. I think they need to go the Drew McIntyre route, go somewhere completely different, rebrand, work on themselves, be the big fish in that smaller pond, stand out, and then come back. Same thing Cody did. It's a good formula.
Yeah.
Well, if that's going to be successful, then it has to be TNA they go to. AEW, they'll be in catering within 3 weeks, and they'll stick back there for the rest of their contract.
Yeah, Solo's, I don't know, man. I don't know. So I fast forward through a lot of Solo Sikoa stuff. Has he gotten any better in any capacity?
No, because he's outshined by Jacob Fatu. Fatu is a better version of what Solo Sikoa was supposed to be.
Yeah, I think honestly they called Solo up way too early from NXT. I think the only reason why they did that is so Roman could have somebody else in the bloodline.
I will say I think Solo's mic skills have gotten better, but like was just pointed out, Jacob crushes him on the mic too. So
Oh, dude.
in comparison,
Solo's role-
there's none. But
Solo's role is like a silent bodyguard, like he was for the Bloodline with Roman. Being the front and center and having to talk, that just didn't work for him. He just doesn't have that charisma like Fatu does. I mean,
He never won.
A silent bodyguard that stands there like this and is like the muscle when needed.
Yeah.
That's where he is useful.
Like Diesel back in the day, like when he first came.
Yeah.
I guess he kind of talked though.
I agree with that. Solo's better when he's just being the enforcer type character, but Jacob Fatu is just such a much better version of that,
Yeah.
because he can talk, he's got the charisma and personality, and he's scary as hell. Like he's even more intimidating than Solo Sikoa.
And what helps him in today's climate, he does some crazy moves. He flips.
Yeah.
He does, and the fans are gonna gravitate towards that. Solo doesn't do any of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, basically, Jacob Fatu's just better in every category, every attribute. He outshines Solo. Austin Theory, I agree with Robbie. He probably needs to leave the company at this point. I mean, what else can he do? Like they aren't using him. His character is pretty much dead. They got no clear direction. They didn't even follow up on the Grayson Waller storyline and have them split up. Nothing.
They have him. Well, apparently on Netflix, since we're in the States, we get the commercials, but they've been doing the off when we get commercials, they've been doing the interviews with Jackie Redmond and stuff like that during TV time.
Yeah.
But still,
yeah, same thing with the Tongas. Like, to me, they don't stand out at all.
No.
You know, Jacob Fatu's clearly the star of that group by far. All right, we got a couple more here. Building Nexus sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, would Seth Rollins be a good choice for John Cena's last match? I say no.
No.
Yeah,
It
needs to be more important story-wise.
Yeah. I mean, I could think of a couple guys that would be good choices, but not Seth Rollins, especially now that Rollins is a heel. I don't know. I don't think he's the right choice. I mean,
I think it's going to be The Rock, honestly. I think he's going to try to make things right, and it'll probably be The Rock.
SummerSlam?
Probably.
I mean, it's a 2-night show. They need to sell tickets. Remember, allegedly, the ticket sales were low for Elimination Chamber, and that's when The Rock got the call to show up. So they got 2 nights at MetLife Stadium for SummerSlam, and they need to sell those tickets for SummerSlam. This is the first time they're doing 2 nights. They're really pushing their luck here, trying to sell all these tickets. So maybe The Rock will. I would not be shocked if The Rock is there, and maybe that'll be Cena's last match. Maybe they will do that. Maybe we'll get The Rock versus Cody Rhodes finally. I mean, I'd like to see it. I'm not ruling it out, but as we talked about last week, I'm kind of just moving on from it. If it happens, cool. If not, whatever. Ty Art sent in a €2 super chat. Thank you for that. It says NXT versus AEW, which is better and why? JJ, you're a big NXT fan. Would you pick NXT over AEW at this point?
I would. I feel like the pacing of the show, the storylines of the show, and the overall talent of the show is. Maybe the talent's not overall better because they're still quote unquote developmental, but I think pretty much every other metric of the show is better in just about every way. There's nothing I see on NXT that makes me want to fast forward, change the channel, like when the Young Bucks come on my television, when Mercedes comes on my television, when Scrubby Allen comes on my television, Hangman Adam Page. Like,
remember when I used to get flamed hardcore for saying all of this stuff from the beginning?
Yeah.
I just want to throw that out there. Everyone yelled, Robbie, you're an asshole. Oh my God. Now everyone.
You were ahead of the curve. Now it's the cool thing to hate on AEW. You were doing it when nobody was talking smack, or very few were. I remember as far back as the end of 2019 and early 2020, I was every now and then I was a little critical of AEW, and people were not happy whenever I criticized it. Now it's it's the cool thing. You criticize AEW, like everybody's doing it. But I haven't watched enough NXT to be able to really make a fair comparison at this point.
You need to watch more, Aaron. You got to watch more.
No, there's too much TV, too much television.
Sacrifice Dynamite. For 1 month, watch NXT instead of Dynamite and review NXT. See if it's better.
I gotta at least watch one AEW show and pay attention. WWE's got 3 shows, so I picked the 2 main ones. And what about TNA? What about if it was like a 3-way? Who would get your TV time?
Psycho Jet Black, slow down. You can super chat more when we pick the next topic. Slow down so I can get to the next topic, okay? Aaron.
All right. Well, Psycho Jet Black.
That's how you moderate.
He said Solo should be the new Rikishi with the dancing.
The pants.
If he really wants to get fired,
if
he really wants to be released, that's definitely the gimmick to go with. Solo Sikoa, the dancer. And Psycho Jet Black sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Psycho. He says, Who do you think has the most political influence in WWE of all these names here, or do all four of them share power? I mean, probably The
Probably
Rock.
Nick Khan. You think so? I think
It's
Nick
got to
Khan
be
has more pull than
Ari.
The
He's
Rock.
the one that asked The Rock
Ari.
to come in for Elimination Chamber. He's head of TKO and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, I would say
Yeah.
it's between Ari and Dwayne.
I think it would go that order. I think Ari, Nick Khan, Dwayne, and Triple H.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Triple H is at the bottom, but I mean, I feel like The Rock, because he's the biggest movie star in the world, and now that he's on the TKO board, like I just think he's got a lot of power, and the celebrity. It's not so much the corporate power, but just the celebrity influence that he has. He's Dwayne Johnson. He's the biggest movie star in the world. Just all that influence that he has.
I say Nick Khan is at least number 2. He's responsible for all the big money deals.
Mhm.
He's probably the number 1 guy in that company to land all those major contracts.
Yeah.
Seriously. So that makes him very important in that aspect.
Yeah. I mean,
And he was talking to that fan who got hit by Austin at ringside. So
Well, let's be clear. She didn't get hit by anybody. She fell down.
Well, this is a whole other topic, but if Triple H left WWE, how much would it affect the company? Do you guys think it would cause people to be boycotting the product?
Boycott, no, but I think a lot of people would be sad. I think he's been a mentor to a lot of those people in the back. Yeah. I mean, the show goes on. We've seen it. It would just continue. Someone else would pick it up. I love Triple H too. I'm a huge Triple H mark, but no, I don't think it's going to be a big drop off or anything.
I mean, Psycho Jet Black, I think that's legitimately one of the better questions that you've presented us, and definitely one that has a lot of different viewpoints and different ways you can look at that question and answer it. But anyways, let's get Psycho Jet Black sent in $2. He said, shout out to Virtue for his moderation. See, he's trying to make up to you. He's trying to butter up to you.
Kiss ass.
He doesn't. One more here from Psycho Jet Black. Thank you, Psycho. And now he says, shout out to JJ and his TV for Scrubby Allen line. Yep, there you go. He beat Psycho Jet Black to the punch. All right, Virtue, we're caught up now.
All right.
Psycho, we'll get some more viewers later on. Go ahead, Virtue.
Next topic, easy peasy. What's next for Cody Rhodes? He's obviously off right now. We can anticipate that he'll get a shot at John Cena again at his title, but what do we each think what's next for Cody Rhodes and how soon we'll see him back? Not necessarily long term. Like, I would like to see him heel long term, not because The Rock said he'd be a great heel. I've said this all along. I just think he looks like a natural heel douchebag dick. Wearing a suit, I'm better than everybody else. I got my own tour bus, and I would be behind that. But what's next for Cody in all of our opinions? Let's start with JJ on this one.
I think the obvious answer would be the guaranteed rematch. The question is, what stage do we do it at? I have a feeling it will be at the 2-night SummerSlam. I don't know if Cody will be off TV that long, but I think, he's worked himself pretty hard these last 3 years. He deserves a little bit of a break, not a full-blown Roman Reigns break, but if he comes out after Money in the Bank, or the Raw after Money in the Bank, I feel, a good month and a half off for Cody. He's earned that. But that's what I think is next for him in the short term, is the gratuitous rematch probably at the SummerSlam.
All right, fair enough. Okay, let's go over to Big G there. Big G.
Yeah. I would like to. Oh my god, I can't talk. I would like to see him go to Raw. I would, the draft should be coming up soon, and I think, he should get the title, his rematch. But I feel like he's done everything on SmackDown, and I think he needs to turn his attention to Raw. So maybe they draft him to Raw. We don't see him until Raw during the draft, and potentially feuding with some new people and stuff like that, getting some fresh storyline, and potentially getting a heel turn. Cody, since he's come back, he's pretty much been a babyface for the past couple of years, and we all know Cody can do good heel work, so I see that down the line. But like JJ said, I think he's going to get that rematch And in the short term, he'll get his rematch first.
Okay. Fair enough. Gino.
All right, I'm going to keep this short and sweet. I just think that Cody needs to lean into the crowd turning on him, be a heel, and basically, honestly, just be this, what Cena's doing right now, just do that. I mean, it's going to be hard to run it side by side with Cena, but you guys turned on me. I worked my butt off for you guys. You guys started cheering this person who was giving you guys crap, all that stuff. I mean, make him a heel. Homelander, Cody Lander, whatever, Code Lander, whatever you want to call him. That's it. Simple.
All right. Any chance that he wins Money in the Bank? I mean, I think he's definitely going to get a title shot at SummerSlam with the 2 nights for sure. He's going to be in one of those matches. But there's a lot of time between now and then. We got the rest of the spring and the summer. So, Robbie, what do you think?
I think he needs to stop being a stupid babyface. I don't care if he doesn't. I don't think he needs like a traditional heel turn. Like I know, Gino, all due respect, I really don't want to see another, oh, you guys made me do this and the fans don't respect. Like I've heard that like every 3 months for the past 40 years of my life, you know. I would much rather him just come back and be like, you know what, guys, I'm going to be honest. I don't care about you guys. I don't care about any of this. All I care about is that title. And I think everything he does should be similar to, like, honestly, what they should do with Cody is recreate similar to what Sting did in WCW, where Cody just shows up. He's just kicking people's ass. You know, he's leaving. He's causing a lot of disruption. You know, he demands his rematch with Cena. Cena doesn't want to do it. Eventually, he gets his way. He doesn't need to be an over the top, I hate the fans heel. He just needs to be laser focused on that championship. I think that would be the best route for Cody Rhodes.
Is there anybody, like, if he were to come back, but they don't want to put him back with Cena right away, kind of like after his feud with Rollins, or after he lost to Roman the first time, he had that program with Brock Lesnar. Is there somebody he could fill time with that would be intriguing? Like, they could attack
Cody?
Jacob Fatu. I don't know, but somebody. Is there somebody like that could get Cody through the summer, maybe?
Drew McIntyre.
Drew McIntyre, yeah.
Oh, God, no. Oh, my God. Oh, he's so boring. Please, no. Oh.
All right.
Braun Breaker.
Yeah, that would be much better. Drew McIntyre is just male Arya Stark, and it's just, I can't get over it. And has that guy changed anything really in the past 8 or 9 years? It's the same ring gear, the same music, the same promos, the same match. He's so boring. He's so boring. He's sobering.
There you go. All right, Aaron. All right, Aaron, go ahead.
Well, I think he will get the rematch with Cena. I mean, he probably has a realistic shot at beating Cena and winning the title back. I know we're talking about like maybe somebody who's on the rise could beat John Cena, but I wouldn't be shocked if it's Cody who ends up winning back the title, you know, SummerSlam or sometime by the end of the year. Cody wins it back. I know that might not be popular with certain people, but I could see that realistically happening. And in the meantime, you know, maybe he feuds with somebody like a Drew McIntyre. I could also see him teaming up with Bad Bunny against John Cena and Travis Scott. They might do that match. But yeah, Virtue, I do think they're going to maybe have him in some kind of an interim feud because I think you got to do John Cena versus CM Punk. You got to do John Cena versus Roman Reigns. I mean, it could be Roman Reigns that ends up beating Cena. Could be Punk. But wouldn't shock me if it ends up being Cody. It's just a matter of what order they want to do everything in. But I definitely see Cena facing those guys in a series of matches before the end of the year. Robbie?
So I see some of these people saying Drew is important. Drew McIntyre is the modern day Big Show. Not the early years Big Show, but like the mid-late career Big Show. Like the New Year's Baby Big Show. It's embarrassing. It's boring.
Wow.
Yeah, dude, he just doesn't win enough. He's not convincing. He loses. He does dumb things. I don't know, man. I just think he is the modern Big Show.
Well,
I'm going to stand by that.
That's a hot take.
That's a Robbie Vice take. That's a classic. That is a classic.
I mean,
Vintage.
I think Drew's great. I mean, I don't really have any issues with him, but hey, fair enough.
I don't have anything with him personally. I just think his character is the Big Show. He's boring.
I wouldn't go that far. You know, I don't even think the Big Show is that bad. To be fair, like I think people are a little hard on the Big Show. I mean, he was entertaining in his day. He had his moments, falling off the roof. But you were talking about later Big Show.
Falling off the roof Big Show is awesome.
Drew did win his match at WrestleMania against Damian Priest, right?
Oh yeah, Damian Priest, another all-star. What a great talent that match. I'll tell you what, I watched that match 30 times. It was so good.
I was gonna say, I don't think Cena's. I talked this with JJ earlier on Spaces, and I think JJ said it too. I don't think Cena's losing his title until his last date. He wants to ruin wrestling.
Yeah.
He wants to ruin wrestling. He's not going to lose that title until he has to relinquish it. No, he's not going to relinquish it. He's taking it home.
I love what I did to the chat, by the way. God, it warms my heart.
I would have never guessed a million years it would have been Drew McIntyre, though. If I had to pick somebody, I would have never. All right, Aaron, more super chats.
All right. Yeah, how can we ever forget Big Show versus Big Boss Man? But anyways,
the Kennel from Hell.
Oh, Kennel from Hell.
Being drugged from the funeral while being on top of the casket.
Body surfing, yeah.
That's a moment for sure.
Psycho Jet Black sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Psycho Jet Black. Says, what if Cody Rhodes does win the title back from John Cena, only to be cashed in by the Money in the Bank winner? Who should be that heel that screws over Cody? Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be Cody, but I mean, Bron Breakker. We talked about Bron Breakker versus Cody Rhodes. I mean, I think Bron Breakker is the clear favorite for Money in the Bank. Would you guys agree with that?
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah.
That or Fatu.
Yeah, Fatu's also got the title, so he doesn't necessarily need Money in the Bank. But Bron Breakker's a great choice, and he could be the one that cashes in on Cody. And I wouldn't mind seeing a Cody heel turn, but we'll talk about that, I'm sure, down the line. That's always a possibility. Maybe he goes dark and they can make it work organically. We'll see. Building Nexus sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you, Building Nexus. Says, maybe Cody Rhodes comes back with black hair like an AEW. Do you guys remember that one time he came out with the black hair? No, don't remember that?
I wasn't watching AEW at that
I mean,
time.
I'd be all for a Stardust appearance to like try to F with Cena, but yeah,
hell yeah,
like a mind game, like a one-off thing.
When he was going against Luke Harper, I remember that. Or
yeah,
Brody Lee,
he did the cartwheel thing, right?
Yeah, he came out like he's in the all black suit with the black hair. Kind of looked like he was part of My Chemical Romance or something.
Right.
I'd like to see that Cody come back. He can pull it off. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Psycho. Says, how about a Bret Hart style hero turn where Cody shows love for his supporters, but he craps on the haters? Who else could be that Bret Hart heel? Drew McIntyre has kind of been like that, where like he's just saying what's on his mind. They're kind of like the truthful heels. Yeah, you could do that. In the right scenario, you could make something like that work. But Bret Hart was in such a unique situation that they were able to do that whole U.S. and Canada gimmick. I mean, it was really brilliant.
That would be Seth Rollins, because that way he could still pander to his people that like his theme song and this and that, but then he could be a heel against everybody else. Maybe Rollins.
Yeah, I feel like that's what he's doing right now. He's kind of just acting heelish, but also he's still coming out to the music and doing that whole thing. So maybe that's what they're going for. They want to.
You know what? No, that's going to be the main event. I was going to say the main event. We're going to be talking about that group.
All right. Well, before we get to that, shout out to Mr. Reliable Walter Cruz sent in a $5 super chat. Says, could you make the draft interesting if you include TNA and AAA in and really shake the roster up? Could be interesting and different. I mean, they could do a couple of AAA names. I wouldn't rule that out. I don't think we're going to see any TNA guys coming in. I think Joe Hendry was like the one-off deal. But it would make the draft more interesting. But then would people be drafted to TNA or AAA?
Yeah, I don't think they'll ever do that. They would literally have to be signed to WWE first. Maybe they're on their way out of one of those promotions, but they could play an angle like they're still with that promotion and then do the draft, but really they were leaving to come to WWE anyway. That would be the only way, in my opinion. That's really what they have NXT for, right? To bring people up from there.
Yeah,
so
not from other promotions.
Yeah, probably unlikely. And plus, if you drafted Andrade to AAA, that would pretty much kill his career, I think. All right, Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, and then we can get to the main event. He says, at least Drew McIntyre didn't hump Hulk Hogan like the Big Show and the Yeti. WCW Halloween Havoc. What a classic moment. That was one of the biggest moments in the history of Detroit professional.
Who was Yeti? Was that the guy in Raven's Flock?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think
God,
so.
what was his name? I can't remember his name.
No. Yeah, Ryan something, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I do not remember his actual
Where's
name.
Jeff Meacham?
Yeah, where's Jeff Meacham to help us here? Maybe
He's at the Kings Oilers playoff game.
coming off of his appearance at TNA Rebellion at ringside.
Was he on camera?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Quite
nice.
a bit. His photo even got tweeted out by Matt Hardy and then retweeted by Joe Hendry. So
Nice.
Yeah, Jeff was there. He was there for the whole thing, and he was right there at ringside just hamming it up the whole evening. And
Yeah, I figured this is how it all went down. I think that he got those tickets from Frankie Kazarian, who's in TNA, right?
yeah,
no,
he was
And
part
then,
of the main
but I
event.
think in order to do that, Jeff filled him some money to do interviews. So he's like, hooked him up. This is my, whether I'm right or wrong, that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
That's your story. You're sticking to it.
Yeah, Jeff got the hookup.
Jeff manages to get those hookups, and just a shout out to Jeff. Hope Jeff's doing good, enjoying his game right now, and follow his channel. By the way, there he is right there, right above the announcer.
Oh, I see him.
Good. That can be the new picture instead of me with freaking Jeff Jarrett. Damn it.
There
Oh
you
no,
go.
you can just do it side by side.
no. We still got to have the Jeff Jarrett image.
Yeah, you got to have
bro.
both. Side by side, man.
Who looks happier? Who looks more stoked?
Probably, with all due respect, Jeff.
Wait, go back to that picture one more time.
This one?
No, not that one. Jeff Meacham. He did he do the Jeff Meacham clap? Is that his hands in the air doing the clap?
I think so.
Yeah, that's a Jeff Meacham clap. There it is, right there.
Not sure
Right.
what he's looking at. Why he's not looking at the wrestler?
He
I
probably
don't
sees himself on the Tron.
Okay. Main event time.
In event time. All right, we're going to talk about the group that has been formed with Paul Heyman is the advocate with Seth Rollins and, of course, Braun Breaker. And I feel that this could, not be a huge group, but I think there could be one more piece. I really think they're going to try to follow the bloodline formula to a degree. So I want to go around and see if there's anybody that you think could join this future at some point or this faction at some point in the future. I have a couple people in mind. Gino, I'm going to start with you on this one. Maybe it's just the three, right? But I really feel like I could see one more person getting added to really make Seth, as a Heyman person, to really, Seth Rollins, hey, look what I'm doing. Bloodline, Roman, you did it. Now it's my turn. So, Gino, any thoughts on this?
Yeah. So, I've been seeing some things online. People, when this first happened, they were mentioning Austin Theory. I don't think that's going to work because he's still got to figure out what's going on with Grayson Waller. They were on the Slammies at WrestleMania weekend. People were saying Sami Zayn. Doesn't look like that's going to happen. I think Kevin Owens would have been a perfect fit, but he's real injured, so that they have to pivot from that. I'm thinking about one of those guys who could be the future. I really think that it could be Bronson Reed, or it honestly could be Trick Williams. Those are I've thought Gunther. I've thought all these other names, and I really settled on Bronson Reed or Trick Williams. But I also think that there might be a female component to it. Talked about Becky being married to Seth. She's a heel now. Maybe a Nia Jax, even though she's bloodline adjacent. Maybe a returning Asuka or a heel Jade. Those are some things that I would like to see added to that group. Some real power and real intimidation, not this, not somebody that can be taking all the pins, I guess.
So, Gino, out of all those females, Becky or nothing. I mean, I can't see any other female work, but I always said they should have Seth and Becky as an camera role together because we all know they're married, and then heels would be the best way, how they dress. I almost think that would, if that doesn't happen, I would be shocked. But
Agreed.
if there is a female, I think it definitely should be Becky. That was one of my two. So, all right, Big G. And I want to see if anybody said, before I say my one person, I'm giving it time to see if anybody else picks them and why. But go ahead, Big G.
All right. So I think I was thinking it too. For if they did add a female to the group, I would have to say 100% Becky. You know, if they male wise, if I want to say Austin Theory, but like Gino just said, he needs to figure out his shit with Grayson Waller before they do that. I think, or even Grayson Waller, one of those two could benefit from joining that group. They're still young. You know, they could, just like Braun Breaker, I wanted to say Bronson Reed. You know, they could soak up all that information from Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman. If I chose somebody from NXT, Trick would be a good one. I think Obafemi would be another one. Or trying to think who else from NXT. JJ would like this one. Maybe Tony D'Angelo. You know, now that the family's quote unquote no longer together, I could see him coming up and joining that faction and getting. I kind of see like an evolution thing going on. You know, Heyman and Seth are the two guys that been there for a long time, and then the two younger guys, you know, that can soak up all the information from them and get a better grasp on the business and stuff like that. So those are my picks.
All right, JJ.
Some great names being thrown out of here already. The comparison to Evolution, I think, is something that a lot of people have been making, especially with Triple H in charge of the book. I think we need to look at this more as like a modern day Dangerous Alliance, though. You know, and not really try to fit the mold of the advisor, the present, and the two young guys, the big, bad, muscly guy and the more defined wrestler type of guy, for a better comparison for Randy Orton, you know, the future of the business. I think we need to look at this more as like a Dangerous Alliance where Heyman is just trying to rebuild with a bunch of different parts of excellence, whether it's somebody like an Arn Anderson who's been in the business for a minute, or a Zbyszko, or whether it's a Rick Rude or a stunning Steve Austin, who he sees as big players for the future. Becky, I think everybody thought Becky once they saw her turn heel on Raw. Theory, you know, has been said a couple times. I could definitely see him, if we're going Evolution, in that Orton-esque role, because he was already pegged as the future of the business at one point. This may be a bit out of left field, but what about a Ludwig Kaiser? He seems like he's kind of been lost in the weeds ever since he's sort of broken away from Gunther. He's not always out there with him anymore, and he's a hell of an athlete. He's done some decent single stuff, but could really use that Heyman rub to push him a little bit more into the mainstream, because he was lumped for years in the Imperium tandem. So without piggybacking too much on what y'all have said, I'm going to go with the Kaiser.
Okay. All right. Some interesting picks. Robbie.
Drew McIntyre. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. So I don't think they should add another male to the group. I'm all in on this Becky thing. I think Becky would be awesome. I think that would be a really cool kind of dynamic with that. They can all each focus on their own thing. That way it doesn't relegate Bron as being the tag team partner of the other person. However, if we had to add one person, and this is going to be a left field, no one said this, and this could be stupid because, again, I fast forward through about 30% of Raw these days. But I do recall Penta's heel persona in his other promotion a couple of years ago was awesome. And I would just love to have that type of character that they could unleash as, you know, like a wild card or something to that effect. Give him a little bit of that push with Heyman. Heyman can speak for him, which is going to help him a little bit. And maybe they can get that big Latino star that they've been trying to have since, you know, Rey Mysterio turned 65 a few years ago.
So, all right. And I'm not going to say, so, okay. I'm not going to say my person. I'm going to go over to Aaron, but I haven't even seen this name in the super chat or the chats yet. Like, I feel like this is on a silver platter for us to say right in front of us. Maybe not right now, but in the future. But Aaron, I'm going to pass it over to you first.
All right. Well, I mean, I agree 100% on Becky Lynch as the female representative of the group. Now, as far as them adding another male to the group, that is interesting because I think you want to go with a younger guy, somebody who's in their 20s. I mean, people have said Karrion Kross and Bronson Reed, but those guys are up there, upper 30s. Ludwig Kaiser is, I believe, 34. Obafemi is pretty young. But then again, I also feel like there should be somebody who is maybe a little bit different than Braun Breaker. Like, do we really need two guys that are basically the same gimmick, like a powerhouse type guy who's going out there destroying people? So I'd kind of like to see more of like a technical wrestler, or maybe even just a great talker. I mean, they could put Logan Paul in there, like he would be a possibility. I would be fine with just Becky Lynch being added. As far as the males go, I mean, you could use Carmelo Hayes, as a potential guy for the group. I'm not really sure who else I would pick at this point. Virtue, I'll let you go ahead and throw your
Virtue. Can I guess? Can I guess what you're going to say?
You're going to guess it, right? Go ahead.
Is it CM Punk? Is it CM Punk?
No.
I thought you were looking for that Hogan and Savage kind of like contrast.
I feel like they're looking at how the bloodline stuff worked, and they're not going to do it the same, but they're going to try to maybe do some of the things similarly. I think it's going to be a babyface wrestler that has like the backing of people behind him. So when the turn happens, no, not you. I think it's Sami Zayn. I think he's going to go through this like Jey Uso went through what he went with the bloodline. I think Sami Zayn will end up joining that group, so they have somebody that can work matches, it can take L's, and do whatever they need to do, and then Braun can stay protected, Seth can stay protected. To me, Sami Zayn all day. I will be shocked if it doesn't happen.
Well, remember,
that's just my gut.
When Hulk Hogan was running the NWO, he was feuding with Randy Savage, and then they beat Savage down so badly, eventually Savage joined them. So,
and all the go to hell, getting beat up, and his dynamic with the bloodline was so good, and he's been pretty much a babyface for a long time. And it would be a true turn, which this group has been. Wasn't Breaker just kind of a babyface? Seth kind of like right, and they've turned because of Heyman. Like, how dare you do this? It's Sami Zayn just fits that mold to me. Go through whatever he's going to go through and then do it. And people are going to be like, what?
And remember on Raw the other week, they had Jey Uso celebrating and Sami Zayn was standing behind him, and they did that little subtle tease. And I don't think that was for nothing. Like, I was a little surprised this week that Sami Zayn was getting off with
Tiger. You're a stupid mark. That's why you're not on the review. That's why you probably never super chat money, because you're broke. Your wrestling opinions are shit. Sami Zayn was that cog that made the bloodline feud storyline extra interesting the last few years. Of course, you're probably one of those people. No, he sucks. I'm not a big Sami Zayn fan, but when you put him in there as that piece, he's great. So the fact that you said snooze, you're just a stupid ass mark. So like, go put some deodorant on. You probably smell like shit, and your opinion's stupid. Snooze. Sami Zayn, whatever. You're probably a Vince McMahon guy, right? Which you think I would be a fan of. But yeah, give Sami Zayn a break, dude. He did some great work the last couple of years. He would deserve a spot like that.
See, Big G, that's why we save our swears till the end of the show.
Anyway. And again, WWE, if anything, always kind of does things, well, what worked in the past, but how can we do it a little bit differently? Jey Uso with the beginning of the bloodline thing, and now look at where Jey is, right? And think about it. You think Sami Zayn is going to win his world title as a babyface underdog? He's won the Intercontinental title. He's done that underdog thing. That's old snooze fest. But as a heel, under the guidance of Heyman, Seth, maybe down the road he can finally get that world title win. And then you could say snooze. Fine, whatever.
All right, we got some super chats here. Building Nexus sent it a $2 super chat, says, could Seth and Paul Heyman save Theory's career? Look, guys, I don't think it's going to be Theory. Theory's not going to be that guy. Theory's pretty much done for. Like, he's mid card for life at this point. If he even stays
At
with
best.
WWE.
Yeah.
Yeah. JJ.
All I was going to say is if anybody can, Heyman can. But if Heyman can't, then you may as well cut him.
Well, okay, Heyman can, Curtis Axel. Who else was
Ryback.
with Heyman? Cesaro. I mean, I don't know. There was other people that.
Yeah, there were several Paul Heyman guys that did not pan out.
And you
I'm
could
not
say
saying he doesn't
Vince-
have failures, but I'm just saying if anybody could rehab him, Heyman's probably your best bet.
Yeah. But I mean, he's a little bit more of a different style than Braun Breaker. So I mean, it could work, that dynamic. Mr. Tito sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you, Tito. Says that I will probably suggest Naomi to join, because I thought Naomi should have joined the bloodline and she never did. She might be starting a family soon. I don't even think she's committed, for a long time at this point. Seems like she wants to try to make babies with Jimmy Uso, and this might be her last run. We'll see. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be Naomi. It'll, if they even do it, it'll be Becky. But I'm wondering if they even add anybody else to this group. I guess we'll have to wait and see. I mean, they definitely got time. As I mentioned on the Raw recap, it was like almost a year before you had that bloodline at their peak of membership. It was Roman, Jay, and Paul Heyman for the longest time. And then like 8 months after they got going, that's when Jimmy came in, and then they started adding more people to it.
But like, I feel like if they do add somebody, and again, Becky's still a really good choice because that would be that dynamic of her and Seth finally together.
Yeah.
But you have somebody where you can protect Braun from taking losses and Seth, and like Sami Zayn is that guy to me, right?
Yeah, he's
They have
Teflon.
him in there.
Fans are still gonna, either love him or boo him as a heel. But yeah, I agree with you.
Well, you got to do it right, though. Yeah, like
Correct.
do it right, maybe. But
All right.
Hey, real quick, I don't watch AEW anymore, and it's probably a long shot. Is Dean
You too?
Ambrose still doing stuff over there? Is he on a contract or
He's the
what's
world
going on?
champion.
Oh,
He's
Oh,
the
good
world
for him.
champion,
All right, cool.
leader of his own faction, has the championship locked up in a briefcase,
All
and
I
is
know
turning
about
people
him-
away from viewers.
yeah. All I know about him is the last time I was on the review, I had to watch a video of him pulling a nail thing out of his back, and that's all I've seen of Dean Ambrose in the past 4 years. So,
Oh, there you go. All right. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Says prediction: Alberto Del Rio will not join Seth Rollins.
no,
You know what? I'd be interested if it was Del Rio. I wouldn't turn my TV off if Del Rio was the guy.
you put yourself through a table if it's Del Rio?
No, I would be happy if it was Del Rio. I wouldn't feel the need to do anything to myself if he showed up. I would even. I'll tell you what. If Del Rio returns to WWE, I'll bring back Riff Darrenson on NoDQ review.
Wow.
I
Take
thought you were gonna say
that will
grow your hair
never
back.
happen.
Clip it.
Clip it.
Yeah, you
Highly
heard it here
unlikely in
first,
all
folks.
likelihood, right, Aaron?
Right. It has to be. It has to be main roster, no NXT. It has to be Raw or SmackDown. If Del Rio shows up on Raw or SmackDown again, I'm not counting NXT because they're doing that Worlds Collide, and maybe he shows up for a one-off. If he's actually on Raw or SmackDown again, I will bring back Riff Darrenson on that next NoDQ
Wow.
review to talk about it. There
The
you
next
go.
time you see that guy on TV, it's going to be on like a dark side of the ring, I think.
Probably,
Yeah.
most likely.
I think that Worlds Collide is going to be open to main roster as well. You can't have guys like Penta, Phoenix, Dragon Lee all on the main roster and not use them as part of that show.
Oh, they're going to definitely, yeah.
So
All right,
And
I may
Mysterio.
have just screwed myself over here. I may have just jinxed Del Rio into coming back. And if I did, I deeply apologize to everybody. But hey, as Virtue would say, I would be entertained just to see everybody pissed off.
And that would happen.
I mean,
for sure.
and like, let's dissect this real quick here. His demons are domestic abuser, right? Is that what really the downward spiral? And like
Yeah.
unless you come out with a public address or a video where you're like crying and you really show that you learn, like that's a hard one to ever come back from. Like that's just
especially with
not good for him.
especially with Paige, who he supposedly abused on her way back to the company. Like, okay, so she's going to come back and, hey, let's bring your abuser in too.
All right, we got a couple more here. Psycho Jet Black sent in $2. Thank you, Psycho. Says, seriously, I want Pete Dunne to join Seth Rollins.
Is that Butch?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Pete Dunne, damn it.
Yeah,
I mean,
you don't say that.
He fills that role of a lackey that they would need if they go that route. They may just keep it like it is.
Well, they put him back with Tyler Bate for the New Catch Republic, so
Yeah, they'd have to end that again. I don't know. I mean, I guess they could, but it wouldn't make sense for Tyler Bate to come back, them be back together, and then out of nowhere, bam, he turns on him. So,
yeah, I think that's highly unlikely that we see him back. Tiger sent in a €2 super chat. There you go, Virtue. Tiger says, Aaron, have we all been manipulated by The Rock?
yes.
Well, yeah, I think it all
Keep it
started
work,
when
too.
he said that promo on Raw or SmackDown, whenever it was. He said, "Or should I sit at the head of the table?" Like, I wish I could just go back and have. He never said that, then I would have never cared.
Right.
That he said that on WWE TV. That was the problem. I think that's the biggest problem with me regarding The Rock. He said that.
He did what Vince McMahon would never do. He dick teased the fans and then did not deliver.
I did it again. He did that, and then the stuff with Cody.
I'm
Cena.
20 steps ahead of everybody.
And now, and of course, all he has to do is come back one time and deliver something. Oh, hey, he did get us.
Yeah, he
But
got us all along. It was all
like
part
you,
of the
Aaron.
plan.
I'm not gonna unless I see it. I'm not gonna believe it.
Calling him on
What
TV.
is going on here? What is going on here? Wait a minute. Bring that cat
that was
back.
cat butt.
All right, Chloe.
I think you should.
I was
get
going
a
to say
new-
that
hey,
that cat should not be able to be doing that by itself. So
If you
I'm glad
guys
there's a
ever
human
get it-
controlling it.
If Big G, if you guys ever get a new male cat, I got a name
Uh-huh.
for it. Right? If you ever get a new male
Oh
cat,
my God! Fuck.
What are you feeding that cat?
It
Yeah.
looks like everything.
Big G. If you ever get a new male cat, you need to name it
Okay.
Jarrett.
Oh, fuck
Jarrett?
no.
Jarrett.
Double
Jarrett.
J.
J, double J.
Just Jarrett. Just Jarrett. Yeah.
Just Jarrett. I'll think about it.
His world, his world. Wee woo, wee woo.
Jeff, were you named after Jeff Jarrett?
No.
Okay.
Thank goodness. All right, we got one more here from Mr. Tito. What a fitting question for the end of this, because this is truly the end. Thoughts on Chris Benoit joining the new Paul Heyman group? Anybody got a funny response to that one?
Yeah. How about, I don't see him making the cut for it, but if he just hangs in there after enough time, maybe.
Oh my God! Wow.
It
Chris Benoit.
would be a killer
Wow.
moment.
Crazy. Like 18 years ago, huh? 18 years. Wow.
Do you think he could still do it, or do you think he'd choke?
Let's not cripple any more storylines, Robbie.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's toothlessly aggressive there, Mr. Tito. So
Now, last time I saw him, he hasn't gotten off that weight bench, so it's been a while.
Fans would get a little too rabid.
All right. This feels like the roast of WrestleMania. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says prediction: Scrubby Allen will not join Seth.
100%. Never. 100% guaranteed.
The master of the trust fall? I don't know, man. Maybe.
Let's put it this way: Alberto Del Rio has a better chance of returning to WWE than Scrubby Allen at this point.
That's
Jeez,
fair.
Big G really got hurt over there.
Would you get a claw to the gut?
Yeah, on the skin a little bit, but
Do we need to find a replacement for next week for you, Big G?
Yeah,
No.
he
might
got
be out of
color the hard
commission.
way.
He's at a local medical facility recovering.
I got clawed. I got.
Oh,
clawed the
Aaron,
hard
another
way,
super chat. Another one.
All right.
Oh,
Here we go.
fuck's sake.
Psycho Jet Black sent in $2. He says, prediction: Jeff Jarrett will not join.
I will
Seth
never
Rollins.
rule that out. Jeff Jarrett, even if it's a low percentage,
You're right.
He's a carny.
he always finds a way to stay in the business. I will never
You're
rule
right.
that out.
Yep.
Not
Jeff
like-
Jarrett, Jeff Jarrett is one of the most brilliant wrestlers of all time because he knows how to get a paycheck from all the money marks, whether it's Dixie Carter or Tony Khan. He knows how to cash in and stay in the business. Virtue's right. Jeff Jarrett, one of the smartest men in wrestling. Big G, I mean, Jeff Jarrett is a man to idolize. Look at him. Look at what he's accomplished, or better yet, look at his bank account and look at how much money he's made. All of his accomplishments, Global Force Wrestling, Global Force Gold.
He stole Kurt Angle's wife. I mean, after his wife tragically died of cancer, he just picks up, finds ways.
If Jeff Jarrett would pay me $1 million, I would let him kick me in the balls.
That's not where I thought that was going, and I'm really glad it ended.
Would you let him take your cat and scratch you in the balls with your own cat?
No.
What the hell did I come on today? What is
$2 million? Would you do it for $2 million?
No.
Oh, come on! You would do it. You would do it for $500,000.
He'd do it for $50.
Yeah, right.
He'd pay him.
He'd do it for $50 and a pack of M&Ms.
All right, we got a couple more super chats here. Psycho Jet Black says prediction: Rift Aronson will return to no DQ. Well, if Alberto Del Rio shows up on Raw or SmackDown, that will happen.
Are you insinuating that Alberto Del Rio is Rift Aronson?
I'm not gonna say yes, and I'm not gonna say no.
Has anyone
The El Grande Americano dilemma.
Yeah, exactly. I know Chad Gable and El Grande Americano are different people. I know J.J. Williams and El Renegado de la Lucha Libre are different people. So, Rift Aronson and Alberto could be completely different people too.
They could. They very well could be. This guy Experience sent in a $2 super chat, and then we'll get to our plugs. Says JJ finally moved and opened the TV Backlash predictions. I guess he wants to be on the Backlash predictions. And JJ finally did something with the TV. I don't know what, but the TV is not in the background for once. It was like 50 videos in a row where we had.
JJ, are you sitting in front of a filter? Turn it off for a second. Or are you not sitting in front of a filter?
He's in the asylum right now.
He's
TV there.
Oh, there's nothing behind him.
What? It's a magic trick. There's no.
And it's a shadow. There's a shadow, so it's legit.
Do you want me to turn my
There's
background
a shadow,
off?
so it's legit. I love it.
I don't know how. I can't.
Exposing secrets here, Virtue.
Kayfabe, JJ. Come on.
Is this an episode of WWE Unreal?
It's the Masked Magician, if anyone's old enough to remember that.
By the way, Gino, the answer is yes. Just so you know, you're in, and this guy is in. So we'll set that up. All right, Virtue, we can go ahead and do our plugs.
Let's go around. Video. Go around and do our plugs. Another great show, almost an hour and a half. Robbie, it's good to be back with you, and we'll be on videos again for sure. Finally,
we'll do a Virtue advice one of these days.
To make a long story short, to the NoDQ Galaxy, Robbie and I just basically kept no-selling each other until we both caved at the same time because we're stupid, but now we're getting older and we don't. Time's precious, so here we are again. Finally,
it's true.
All right, plugs.
So, my plugs are: I don't exist on social media. Don't talk to me. If you want to hear from me, you tune into the review, and if you're lucky enough, I will be on here. Other than that, you're never going to hear from me. You're never going to see me. You're never going to see me post. You're not going to know I exist. Follow all these guys, though. These guys are important. Not me.
Thank you. Yeah, you'll be on. Big G, go ahead.
Yeah, and you want to throw up the first graphic with my socials?
I don't want to throw up anything, but there we go.
So if you love cats, go to my YouTube channel, Harley and Joker 2021. I got a whole bunch of cat videos of my cats doing crazy ass things. X NoDQ _ Big Baller G. TikTok Big Baller G 1988 until it gets banned again here in the US. And Insta NoDQ _ Big Baller G 1988. And you have the other one, Aaron, for the book?
Let me see. Hold on. All right, here we go.
Yes, so Fox and the Poppy is available on Amazon or Kindle.
Oh, no, it's his building again.
That's an Amber alert.
Yep, I got to go, guys. I'll see you. I'm about to die. Bye.
Bye.
Yes, Fox and the Poppy is currently available. May 31st, her second book, Harmony Under the Sea, will be available as well. And thank you to everybody who's bought the book so far. I know Gino has, and I know a couple people here in the NoDQ family have as well.
Well, hopefully Robbie's okay.
Well, I know where he kind of lives, and I hope there's no tornado warning where he lives, because that sounded like it could have been a weather warning.
That was an Amber Alert, yeah.
Oh, was it an Amber Alert? Okay. But sometimes that's a tornado warning.
It could
that's
be
the sound,
like a weather
And there looks
alert.
like there's a big thunder cell right around the area where he lives, so I'm hoping that's not what it is.
We're supposed to be getting some
ORM,
crazy
bringing the
tonight.
weather news
Yeah, no,
straight
it
to it.
is tornado warning. Michael Wayne just said, yeah. All right. Big G, you did yours? Okay, JJ.
Yeah.
Gee, is Amazon or whoever is offering her books going to do a package deal when the other one comes out? Because I know sometimes websites like that do like a 2-for-1 deal.
They might. I can ask my wife. I don't know if she would have to be able to set that up or something like that, but I can definitely ask her.
Yeah, something to think about. I saw it was $15.99. They may want to do like a 2 for $30. But anyways, shout out to the Simply Reliable Studios crew. You can follow all of us on YouTube, J Hebert 95 or J Hebert Side 95, excuse me, Casa D18 Studios, and Foster 1916. Our newest affiliate, who's not on the graph yet, Batty for Wrestling, and of course, Rage of Wrestling, Walter's channel. Subscribe to all of them, especially Rage of Wrestling and Batty for Wrestling. Let's get their numbers up. Go back into our archives. Check out the 20-something watch-alongs we did for WrestleMania week. Check out the interview I did with La Princesa Tiffany Nieves. We may be getting another interview here sooner rather than later as a result of our interview with her. We've been conversating with her back and forth, trying to work something out to get some other people that she works with out there to bring them onto the show. Hollywood Haley J, Natalia Markova, possibly EC3, since she's the champion for his Exodus Pro Wrestling. So just be on the lookout for the channels and see who we end up locking down for an interview.
All right. Thank you, JJ. Gino.
As always, guys, honored to be here. Appreciate everything. If you want to catch me, you catch me on YouTube. Just Papa Gino 0017 in the search bar. Should be the only one that comes up there. Somebody has my @ We're going to figure out how to fix that. But yeah, we appreciate it. And I brought back my Major Push Wrestling I started like a decade ago. We'll be doing it on Wednesday nights. Last episode, the first and last episode that we did was already up on my channel. Go check that out. Give it a like. It really means a lot to me. Obviously, nothing can replace NoDQ, but I hosted last week, so I didn't get to share a lot of my thoughts. Gives me that outlet to do that. And, I know I say it a bunch, but, Aaron, Virtue, everybody, JJ, Big G, Robbie, all the guys that come on, we really appreciate everything. And I just love having this community. It's just an honor to be a part of it. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. So thank you very much, guys.
Right,
I know I subbed to you, Gino, so.
All right, Aaron. Thanks, Gino. Over to you.
All right, we got a couple super chats here. So Psycho Jet Black says, prediction, the stunt granny will return. Who is the stunt granny?
No idea.
Mae Young, maybe?
Mae
No.
Young? Don't think that's going to happen.
Well,
Just
yeah.
saying.
Well, we have
Rest in
Chris Benoit returning, so you never know. Anything can happen in the WWE. So,
Well, thank you for that, Psycho. And what is going on here? Mr. Tito says, F, marry, or kill Virtue, Robbie, or Big G. Well, Robbie's not here, so could I kill him? But seriously, though, I don't want to jinx him knowing what happened with that alarm. So I'm not going to say kill Robbie. I'll just say I'll marry all three of them. How about that? I'm going to be nice. Just marry all three of them. You can marry them for the money. You don't have to do anything else. Just marry them. Virtue's got a nice condo in the suburbs. Big G's always happy, so you'll have plenty of joy. Well, most of the time. And then Robbie's got that cool basement. So you get
he's got a basement if there's a tornado warning, so he's okay.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
All right, and Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Says prediction: El Virtuoso will return to NoDQ.
No, never.
Never.
I mean, not well. I mean,
what about if Ryback returns to WWE? Would you?
Somebody else could be El Virtuoso, so therefore he could technically return. But
what
about for a $100 super chat?
It's not going to be the original person that portrayed El Virtuoso, is what I'm saying.
Well, there you go. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Says prediction: EC3 will not join Seth Rollins. What if EC3 returns? Would the original El Virtuoso come back? EC3.
No,
Control your narrative.
It had to be. If Vince Russo returned back to WWE, then El Virtuoso would return.
All right, there you have it. If Vince Russo comes back to WWE, we'll get the original El Virtuoso. And then Mr. Tito sent in $2, says prediction: Alberto Del Rio climbs Mount Everest.
God Almighty!
Sorry, the next super chat I saw.
I mean,
made me laugh.
between Tito and Psycho Jet Black, I don't know what the hell is going on here tonight.
Del
Mr.
Rio,
Tito.
man.
Mr. Tito says Virtue doesn't wear condominiums.
Look at Gino.
I love a good pun, man, and that was just brilliant.
You don't have to if you're snipped.
Oh,
All righty then.
that'll do it, folks.
He doesn't look
Good
like he's
night.
happy to be here anymore. He's all up in his phone.
Yeah, Big G's
Good
no
night,
longer
folks.
happy to be here. He's had a little bit too much information thrown his way. So on that note, Virtue, we'll go ahead
Yes.
and get to your final thoughts.
Yeah, follow me on x.com if you dare at NoDQ_virtue. I'd say go to NoDQ.com/merch. You might have to wait a month for your shirt, though, while they're trying to catch up from early season sales earlier in the year, but there are NoDQ shirts up there as well. But that is it. This has been the NoDQ Review 333. I am Virtue, the moderator. Next week is Colin's turn. If for whatever reason he can't, Gino will step in. But for Robbie, for Big G, for JJ, for Gino, for Aaron, and the whole NoDQ crew and galaxy, we'll see you next time, everybody. Good night.